The big story coming in from the Supreme Court, which has reserved its verdict on a clutch of petitions, review petitions that challenged the court's own verdict last September that had allowed the entry of women between the ages of 10 and 50 to the Sabarimala shrine. Now, the board that controls the Sabarimala temple made a complete U-turn on the entry of women of all ages, telling the Supreme Court today that it has decided to support it. The Devaswam board is controlled by the Kerala government. It had earlier opposed. The Kerala government, of course, has also opposed any review of the top court's September order that ended the temple's traditional ban on women. 5 judges of the Supreme Court today hearing more than 60 petitions that urged a rethink on its verdict that opened the temple doors to women between the ages of 10 and 50. Vaidyanathan joining us at this point. Vaidyanathan, what are we hearing? When is the Supreme Court going to take the matter up again?
See, today the judgment has been reserved after hearing almost 3.5 hours. 5-judge bench headed with Chief Justice of India, Justice Ranjan Gogoi. So around 65 petitions. Most of it, around 54 are review petitions. Some women who have been stopped entry, they also come here through Indra Jaising. So all the hearings are over. So basically the points put forward by the petitioners who are seeking the review, saying that Supreme Court should reverse its verdict on the September verdict, allowing all women to enter the Sabarimala temple. They said it's a religious faith. Supreme Court should not get into it, and it's not a discrimination. It can't be termed as untouchability because all women are allowed except this age barrier between 10 and 50. That's part of the custom that has been there for long years. But interestingly, Kerala government sticking to its own stand, saying that we are going to implement the judgment. Steps are being taken, and it says. And interestingly, Kerala also pointed to the court, saying that the protests which have been happening, that's not a ground for changing the Supreme Court's verdict. But the interesting another point is the Devaswam board, which manages the Sabarimala Ayyappa temple, completely made a U-turn and said that it welcomes the judgment. It wants the judgment to be implemented. It also said that women should be respected. In the 21st century, we should move on and respect women. So these are the points. Anyway, the bench has reserved its verdict. We don't know when it will be delivered, but Indra Jaising, appearing for a few women, said that on 12th of February, the temple is opening and Supreme Court should make itself very clear. Chief Justice said they are reserving their verdict. So we don't know when the judgment would be delivered.
Right. Vaidyanathan, take us through in greater detail of what the various petitioners argued in the court today, some of them pointing to what they felt was an error in the September judgment of the Supreme Court, which talked about how there cannot be untouchability, and they said this can't be, the Sabarimala instance can't be seen through the lens of untouchability. What are the kind of arguments we heard in court today?
So, yes, this is one of the arguments. In fact, Justice D.O. Chandrachud in the 5-judge constitution bench which delivered the judgment in September basically termed this discrimination and equated to untouchability. So this point was rebutted and said that it can't be termed as untouchability because all women, any caste, any creed, anyone can enter. There is no discrimination between men and women. There is no discrimination in the religion also. Anyone can, even Christians, Muslims, anyone can enter the temple. Only this 10 to 50 women of this menstruating age is just because of the custom being followed over the years. So that was the main ground. But anyway, the other parties, right from the Kerala government and others, they were opposed to saying that Supreme Court should not reverse its verdict.
Right.
So D.O. Chandrachud's judgment was being pointed out only because that it's not untouchability at all. Don't equate it.